So now we will come to the third part of the software testing, and we will begin with now the formal validation. That is, what is the meaning of the formal validation now? That is, the same tests that were run during informal validation are executed again and the results recorded. The two tests are there. That is the same test. First test has been run and we have got the validation. And the second time we run it and then we get the results recorded. So the formal validation is there. Two times it has to be run. Second is the software problem reports are submitted for each stage that fails. We test these test cases with the software with every part of the module, and then you write down the module number, and then we'll report it to the report managers. The managers are there, the project manager is there. So SPR tracking, that is software problem reports, is performed and includes the status of all SPRs, that is, which is open and fixed the problem is open or verified, or the problem is deferred, or it is not a bug, it is a simple problem like this. So we do the classification of validations. For each bug fixed, when we fixed the problem, then the SPR identifies the modules that were changed to the fix the bug. So modules were has to be identified, and then SPR has to identify the modules that were changed to the fixed bug. The module has to be identified by the SPR, and then baseline change assessment is used to ensure only modules that should have changed and no new features have slipped in. So no new features have been added into the formal validation testing. So only the fixing of the bugs has to be done. Informal code reviews are selectively conducted on changed modules to ensure that new bugs are not being introduced. So the formal, also informal review is going to be there, and it is conducted on change the models. If you change the models and after the fixing of the bugs, that will be called as change models, to ensure that the new bugs are not being introduced. So the from the all the angles, if you see that then you see that from the all the angles that there are any bugs into that module. So time required to find and fix the bugs is tracked. So what is actually the time required? What is the cycle time for that to find and fix the cycle time for particular module is being recorded. So the so that it will be useful for the project manager that what much time is going to require for fixing the bugs into the modules. So how much big the model is there, and how difficult bugs to be there to fix it. So which are the techniques to fix it? So all these things will be taken into consideration in the SPRs. So regression testing is performed using the following guidelines. How can you do that? The regression testing. Use the complexity measures to help determine which models may need additional testing. Use the judgment to decide which test to be rerun. Base decisions on knowledge of software design and past history. So the regression testing used these three main things, that is complexity measures to help determine which models may be needed additional testings, and judgmental decisions. Next is the base decision of the knowledge of the software design and past history. Now the formal validations in that track test status is very important, whether it is being the past one, that track has been passed, that is if you are having a modules and which has got the a complete flow of that modules from one end to the another end, and then we have got a tree structures of that, and if it is passed, then you have to write it down the pass, that node has been passed as a module, or it is failed, or it is run properly or not. So tracking has been recorded. So record the cumulative test timing, also cumulative hours of actual testing. That is the, if you've done the testing, all the testings with the help of all the models, we have to record that testing for the software reliability growth tracking. So the reliable, how much reliable is the software is going to be there as you do more and more in testing. What is the exit criteria for the validation testing now? What should the things that we should exit from the validation testing. So what is the threshold? What is the boundary for that? All test scripts have been executed and all else fails, that is reports have been satisfactorily resolved. Resolution could include bugs being fixed, refer to a later release, determined not to be bugs, etc. All parties must agree to the resolution, and this criterion could be further defined to state that all higher priority bugs must be fixed while lower priority bugs can be handled on case by case basis. So all changes made as a result of SPRs have been tested in the exit criteria of this validation testing. All documentation associated with the software such as SRS, that is software requirement specifications, and SDD in the test documents have been updated to reflect the changes made during the validation tests. That has to be design model, that is software design models are there also. So the we have to test that also, and the test documents are to be modified, and then changes which has been modified has to be taken care. The test report has been reviewed and then approved. So when you do a test report, depending upon the validation testing, and it has to be good. Thank you very much for the listening.